Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Simple Politics. I do apologize for looking this bad and crusty, but I really wanted to put this episode out there. And the one thing that I want to touch on, I actually want to touch on two things, or maybe three. The first thing I want to touch on is the fact that this morning it was reported that the cabinet, it says that President Cyril Ramaphosa's cabinet has rejected the finance minister Ino Godongwana's revised budget, meaning that they still have not come to an agreement, which is very, 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 very scary. Yeah, well, and so this morning, the EFF, Julius Malema, and the leadership, Gigi, Deputy President, and others, and SG was there as well, Marshall Dlamini, they went to visit the former speaker. Her daughter passed away, so they went there. So when they were coming out, the journalist asked Julius Malema what he thinks about this, and CIC gave his 2 cents. So I'm going to play that clip. Just before I play that clip, I am also going to, well, I'm not going to talk much about this because there's literally nothing to say as yet. There's nothing breaking. Fikile Mbalula has announced the new structures in KZN, and it's quite a big structure. I heard one of the analysts was saying, it's such a bloated cabinet. And then at first I was, I think like 60 something people just for KZN. It's like war. We've deployed the best of the best. We're about to fight. Yeah, well, which is a good thing to some extent. Because also I do know that with the EFF as well, with all their deployments, KZN has the most people. I think they have like 12, if I'm not mistaken. I stand to be corrected. But I do know also in the EFF, KZN definitely has the most people that are deployed there. So, I mean, it's like 60, I think this guy said 60, 67 or something was like, so many people. So there's quite a lot of people that are deployed there that are going to do the work. And also another thing that I wanted to touch on is I was watching the workshop that was conducted in the MKP by Floyd Chivambu and the DSG. And there's a lady, they were all given a chance to ask questions. And there's a lady who stood up. I'm going to attach her questions and the things that she said. I think out of everyone who asked the question, she's the one person who asked like relevant questions. So I'm going to attach her questions. Maybe things that you can think about. I'm not necessarily going to say much because you guys always say, hey, you judging, hey. So I don't want to say much. I am going to attach her questions and her concerns. And then I'm also going to attach a little bit of Floyd's reply because he also touched on the dual membership. He said something very interesting, which I'm going to attach here. So yeah, is that all that I want to cover? Oh, and hey, okay, this one I'm just gonna put it out there. So Herman Mashaba posted and said, apparently he met one of his councillors for the first time. Let me see if I can read that tweet. Apparently he met one of his councillors for the first time, and he didn't know that that person was part of their. So someone is like, so you don't know your people. Like, you don't know, even worse, even if you don't know your people, at least maybe by face-to-face, have an idea that there is someone who is representing us in that place. You can't be shocked when meeting someone who says, hi, President, when someone says, hi, President, I'm part of Action SA, and in a way you are shocked as the president. That is crazy. Where is this thing now? What did I do with it? And the worst case, I shared it. So, and someone asked Uguti, Herman Mashaba, are you guys running this party on WhatsApp? Because how can you not know? Like, that is absolutely crazy. And the bonigele tweetika Herman Mashaba was bendi Cheryl. So, yeah, okay, anyway, let's get right into it. Let me attach the clip of CIC, and let's just listen to what he says when he answers the fact that the cabinet or the ministers or the parties in the GNU, they still can't agree on the budget. And they are running out of time because now we are close. They are actually running out of time because we are really close now to, it's March this weekend. We are Kalu March. So they actually need to present the budget in 12. Otherwise, this country nje is skating on thin ice.
So speaking about politics, Mr. Malema, Cabinet yesterday failed to come up with a concrete plan or to adhere to the plan that the Minister of Finance had on the budget speech that was meant to be delivered now on the 12th of March. As the EFF's view, what is your point of view with Cabinet simply failing to come up with a proposal and with a proper budget speech at this 11th hour going towards the 12th of March?
Yeah, that's a government that is disorganized. It's in disarray, and we have to accept that the GNU has failed, and they might intervene the bosses now to get them to pass the budget. But this is a clear sign of cracks, that there is nothing that can ever work going forward. We are going to be a government without a budget. It has never happened anywhere. Once you don't have a budget, you have collapsed the government. So Commissioner of SARS is making very progressive proposals and says if you increase VAT, it will not have any serious impact. But if anything, let's invest in SARS' capacity to collect the revenue. There is 800 billion which can be collected if systems are put in place. And the latest innovation is introduced at the SARS level, which is more sophisticated and has got an ability to reach every taxpayer. So those are some of the things we can look at. We can look at reducing cabinet. We can look at removing deputy ministers. And there are many other areas that we can look at and cut to complement the social program of our government, because these austerity measures, which are targeting in particular health and education, are going to plug us into serious.
Oh, I found that tweet. Herman says, I have just discovered that Action SA has a councillor in a Carosis view. Kharamotse, Councillor Mokhati Mochi, the result of merger with F4SD. We are both attending the Northwest Provincial PEC meeting. Hey, and then someone said, I have just discovered. I mean, in your own party, all this time you didn't know you have a councillor in that province. How are you running this party? It's honestly shocking that he wouldn't know. He has to know, and he's the president. Even if he doesn't know the specific name, but he must know that we've got someone there. Anyway, let's get into the Fikile Mbalula. So Fikile Mbalula has, as I said, has already announced their structures for KZN, even though they don't want to say they've disbanded the old one, but we all know they've disbanded the old structure, they've got new structures, they're ready to take on KZN. So one of the analysts was actually saying, Uguti Yazi, maybe the problem of ANC, it's not the people that are deployed, it's the ANC itself, the brand and the reputation that they have right now, or that the reputation they've accumulated over the years. So their problem might not necessarily be the people that are deployed. Even if they do change the deployment in their structures, it might still not help them. That's what someone said, it might still not help them. But I mean, we all gonna see, even in Gauteng, we can all analyze and say, oh, personally, I still do feel that, I don't know if it's such a good idea to change the structures closer like this to the elections, wara. But what do I know? Yeah, but if they think that new people are going to bring fresh energy, they're going to bring new ideas, and maybe it might make a difference, maybe it will work. At the end of the day, Fikile Mbalula have experience. They've done this thing before. So, I mean, you can't think Ubana, oh no, you know better than everyone, so I'm always willing to learn and see how things go. I'm interested to see Uguti, will this change and mix mesh be worth it for KZN? Will it be worth it for Gauteng? And only time will tell. Only time will tell. And we saw yesterday, Upanyaza Lusufi gave the state of address, and everyone was quite happy with the way the EFF was interviewed. And I see Nkululeko Dunga saying, the chairperson of Gauteng, he says, what he appreciated more about Panyaza is the fact that he spoke about everything. He spoke about the real problems of Gauteng, he did not lie. And also I saw the interview of Vuyiswa from Rise Mzansi. She was like, Panyaza touched on everything. So everybody seemed happy with how he delivered the state of the provincial address, which I didn't necessarily watch. I watched a few parts. I was extremely busy, so I didn't have a chance. But yeah, I watched a few parts of it. I was busy yesterday. So yeah. So I mean we can only see Uguti, will it be worth it, Figile? Because if it falls apart, we all know everyone is gonna blame Figile. But if it works out, then great for them. One of the analysts even said that it's a mixed match of the older people and the newer ones. So it's just in a mixed match. Let's see how it goes for the ANC. I mean, only time will tell. And then, as I said, I was watching the Umkondo Wesizwe workshop conducted by Floyd. Let me attach the clip for the lady who asked the question, and then let me attach the answer for SG.
Ntombi Futhi Vilagazi. I am from COJ, Ward 41, Soweto. I have concerns. There's a section there in the Constitution that speaks about signing powers. And I realize in the last paragraph it says it's either the President, Secretary. My concern is mainly around where it says any member of the staff can be given signing powers. I think that makes me anxious in a sense that I don't think anybody who is a staff member can carry so much responsibility. And when it comes to financial decisions, I think that for me, my suggestion, we not maybe in how we term that line to say in the absence maybe of the secretary and the president, temporarily, yeah, short temporal signing powers can be assigned to a staff member. Concern, I don't know, I need to on this one because I think the flow of the Constitution is beautiful, right? And the ideas that are being introduced are fresh, they're fine, they're nice. But I would really like for you, SG in particular, to take me through maybe the thought of mind when we were drafting this Constitution. I feel like the and the national organizer, they are overlapping unless you were intertwining them. And if that was your idea, what is it that we are trying to achieve by having an official who is also kind of clubbed with another official? What is the thought behind combining the roles of a secretary and national organizer? Also, this is not a question, it's just a comment. I would like to also congratulate the new leadership in terms of gender representation. We all understand the last Buya corner. When MKP started, the national structures was purely and mainly males. I think from that time to now, we've seen progress. The appointment of DSG was a very beautiful, but can our gender not be our limitation? As time goes, I would really appreciate to also see young women swelling the ranks of high command and ama mother body detachment. We have a of people that is not considered. It's either you are over 40, you are over 50, but below that, we don't know where we are going. Not because we don't have direction, but there's a lack of direction from leadership. What happens to young men and women? I also would say I support decision to say over the age of 30, you are not youth. But also what that says to me is that over the age of 30, MK Party is saying they are ready. But they are ready for what when we are not being deployed anyway? There's a huge chunk of comrades and activists of MK Party who are over 30, who at some point were youth. I know it was not correct. We cannot compare the needs of a 16-year-old to that of a 34-year-old. Those ones are preparing homes, they are raising kids. These other ones need capacity building, support, education, training. We understand. So the separation was beautiful. But can we then be taking into your confidence to say, after you've chopped that chunk of very capable young people, what is the plan? What is the alternative? Is to send us to high command? Is to send us to government? Are we going to now start having shadow roles in the high command so that I think before we are 35, we can also start being relevant and being used in spaces where we can be effective? Amandla.
I think we've dealt with the issue of dual membership, that the dual membership can only be approved by national officials. So what that means is that if the organization discovers that you are a member of a different political organization and you don't have approval of such, you will be charged and be subjected to disciplinary processes, or be advised to belong to that organization only and not belong to both. Because now we're communicating clearly that let's be members of Umkhonto Wesizwe only. If you want to explain why you must join two organizations, you must be able to clarify that. And the issue is each member joins as an individual. Even if you are a pastor or a traditional leader, even if you are Amakos, you can't automatically join other people. And you can't even join your wife. You join one person, and it's one person that gets to participate in the structures of the organization. You know, constitutions, comrades, are developed for certain contexts and environments all the time. That is why you have to amend them from time to time. Do you know, like, it's very sad because we'll have to give example with the ANC. They've had, 55 conferences now. All the 55 conferences have amended their constitution. All. There is no conference where they said, no, we're not touching it now. Because it must be adapted to changing circumstances. A comrade who spoke representing Amakosi, that is the only diversion we'll make. So this is what happens, comrades, when we got a report of, because we're not there and we're not there elsewhere, when we got a report of what happened in Orlando Stadium and what happened in Moses Mabhida, is that comrades go, or leadership of Amakosi go to the event and then they arrive at the event and say, we are the traditional leaders. You must treat us as such, and no one knows that. Objectively, like, the security works on the basis of the accreditation list that were given, or the people who confirmed attendance, and you just arrive and say, I'm a traditional leader. What criteria do we use to determine that this person is a traditional leader? And in the process, so I think when we grow older, we will be able to have a much more reliable database of all the traditional leaders of Umkhonto Wesizwe, and so that we invite them and look after them and all of those things. But currently, it's not practical what is expected. It's not disrespect of any traditional leader. It's just impossible, because a lot of people, are so many people who were not traditional leaders, by the way, who arrived wearing like their traditional leaders and wanted to enter the presidential suite. And then when you inquire where do they come from, you realize that even some of the areas they mentioned do not necessarily exist. So there is that dynamic, but we will deal with that aspect, because we have now we're in the process of officializing the Umkhonto Wesizwe interfaith religious movement.
Anyway, guys, that is all I had today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you think in the comment section. These days, I don't like to comment too much, because every time I say something, people come for me. Ukuti, hey, when you don't like us, you are biased. So, I just like reserving my comment as I should, right? Anyway, if you don't know who I am, my name is Izipolo Belwana. I promise some days I do look better. Today, I must say, a little bit cross. crusty. I promise to do better, and I promise to take you guys very serious. I promise. I really promise. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's free of charge. Let's go to 30,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Aluta continua. Until next time. That's on period.